Hey, I'm Nick Hawks with 𝗪𝗁𝘁, and I'm going to go through how you can estimate earnings for a location. This isn't a guarantee. This is just a good way to think about how much you should be earning, how much you could be earning, and how much the average hotspot is earning. So let's start with that. Is the average hotspot is earning 0.09 HNT per day. How did I get there? I did a bunch of math, none of it super difficult, pretty straightforward stuff. You take the total number of hotspots that are out there, you divide out the number of hotspots that are not online. There's about 79 or 76.9, something like that, percentage of hotspots online. And then you go through and say, okay, how much of the 2.5 million HNT per month is going to us as hotspot owners, the POC stuff? How much is the data credit stuff is going to, the unused data credit stuff is going to us? So I did this whole thing. If you want to see this in real time and you want to have access to it, join the 𝗪𝗁𝘁 crew, which is over on 𝗪𝗁𝘁king.com. Just go to 𝗪𝗁𝘁 crew, click on that. It'll take you through how to join up and you get access to this little calculator. You don't need it, not super vital, but yeah, if you want it, and you want to kind of stay up to date with what we're doing, it's there. So yeah, I took all of the HNT distributed per month, took the percentage that's POC, the percentage that's data credits. I took the unused or the used data credits and pulled those out, made those into dollars, turned those dollars into HNT, added the leftover HNT from this total amount of DC into it. I know I'm going fast, but you can figure this stuff out. And ended up with, I'll skip through all this crap, ended up with 0.091 daily average HNT per hotspot. So if you are running a hotspot, your average is likely to be 0.09. Now, that's not super helpful for you because you've got an actual hotspot, not the average hotspot. So let's take a look at how I'm going to estimate and how I suggest you estimate what your daily earnings might be. Keep in mind that daily earnings will go down. I'm recording this on March 6th of 2022. By April 6th of 2022, all of this will be wrong, but the method should remain. Some of these apps that we're seeing now for free may be paid, but yeah, this is how you do it. So you start off with a global average, right? 0.091. And then the next thing we do is I'm going to take a look at my region, America's finest city, San Diego, which is right here. If we look at this entire region, Hotspotty does a really cool thing. It draws this big purple perimeter around the whole thing, and it tells us what the average monthly rewards are in San Diego, 3.27, which is pretty cool because the average monthly rewards across the network are something like, 2.73. I'm not sure if you can read it that small, but that's the monthly average across the globe. So here in San Diego, we are crushing as usual. We're about, what is that? I don't know, 0.7 HNT or 0.7 HNT per month over. Another thing I'll draw your attention to, just because I'm super proud of it right now, is this is my hotspot, amateur 𝗙𝗵. A bunch of you guys have seen videos on this thing. It's on the top of a mountain. It's got a really low gain antenna. It took a ton of blood and treasure and effort to get it up there. And it's on top. So I guess the first part is, if you want to be way above average, you are going to have to do exceptional things, right? That was not an easy hotspot to put in. It's not an easy hotspot to service. Let's not spend too much time on it, but the great thing about this is that, about Hotspotty, is it not only gives us our average monthly rewards, 3.27 for all of these hotspots, for all 9,000 hotspots in the San Diego area, it also tells you what the top earners are getting. And in this case, we don't need to look just at this top one. We look at these top, couple 5, and we see that these top 5 are all earning less than 30 HNT a month, so less than 1 HNT a day. And as we go down a little bit, as we kind of drag this guy down, even if we're in the top 10%, we're very quickly going down from where it was, 26, 27, 24, down to under 10 HNT, and this is per month. Okay, you can set this up on Hotspotty. Again, if you join 𝗪𝗁𝘁 crew, I'll show you how. You can totally figure it out in yourself, but part of this is a push to show you how valuable the crew is. If you need help with it, I help you with all this stuff. Okay, so we know the global average, we know our local high point, and we know our local average. So if you're deploying in San Diego, and I'll just assume for now that you are, you know your local average is 3.27. So if you do an average job, that's probably what you're going to get. The next thing to look at is to jump over to Helium.Vision. All right. Helium.Vision is a paid app. I'm an investor. I think I've said that before. Used it long before I was an investor. It's a great app. That's all I'm going to say about that. So how to use Helium.Vision for checking out your average. The easiest way is you go over to layers, turn it on, and then go up here and look for average rewards over the last 24 hours. Now, let's say that you've got a really easy one to predict, and that would be because you're in some super dense area, right? So let's say you're in this generally dense area here. If you put a hotspot right here, or here at this intersection, or at this intersection, or if your house is whatever, this house right here, you've got a bunch of hotspots around you that will predict how much HNT you're going to earn. And in this case, all of the hotspots in this hexagon, which is a Res8 hex, we talk about Res8 hexes in other places, and you can certainly take the Helium Basic course for that, which you can find over at the site. But all of the hotspots in this Res8 hex, that the average HNT they're making per day is 0.04. So a little less than half of the San Diego average. All right. Now, why is that? I mean, any kind of 3 or 4-year-old can look at this and I could tell them like, hey, Billy, this is too, down here is too dense and down here is not dense enough. And right about here is just right. So what do you think about this place? They'll say, well, little Billy says that looks like it's too dense. Those people are not going to earn as much as everyone else. So that's true. So the first thing you can do, just to do a very quick kind of check, is you take your global average, you take your regional high, you take your regional average, you look at Helium.Vision, and then you look at your area and you see what you're likely to get. Let's take a look over here where the numbers are a little bit better. So the average here is 0.24. That's double our local average. Remember, our local average here was like 0.11, something like that. Or no, actually, it's more, I don't know, 0.13. Maybe I didn't calculate it, but certainly over the global average of 0.09. So 0.24, 0.28. What are these guys doing differently? I just randomly grabbed this and then I saw that, oh, they're on Dictionary Hill. Dictionary Hill is a local high point here in San Diego. So if we rotate it and we see they're up high, of course, these ones are going to be really good earners because they're going to see a ton of other hotspots. That's kind of the best way to mitigate the risk, is to get your hotspot up high. So this might be a thing, though, that you look at it and you say, oh, these guys are doing 0.28 and these guys, this guy's doing 0.24. I'm going to crush it because I'm over here and I'm going to do, even though this guy's doing 0.09, I'm going to do great. You're probably not. And that is because the guy in the 0.09 hex is down lower than Dictionary Hill, folks. And especially if you're in this little neighborhood here, none of your signals are going to escape past Dictionary Hill or past that little bowl that we saw. So you've just got to make kind of reasonable estimates on what your hotspot will do. The last thing that you can do that may raise or lower your predicted income is going to be something that only you know. And that is going to be, how are you going to deploy your hotspot? If you're going to put it inside, it's going to be lower than the global average, right? Maybe not, but I would conservatively estimate you're going to do worse than normal, right? If you're doing a worse than normal deployment, you're going to get worse than normal earnings. Now, I might be wrong on that. I might be skewed because most of the deployments I see and work with are flat out fucking awesome. But yeah, maybe the average is inside, and that's where you're getting that 0.09. And that's why these guys are getting 0.09. The other thing that you might know about your hotspot is you're going to be more like a Gristle crew member and you're going to do an awesome job. You're going to get it outside. You're going to put it up high. You're going to use a method that we recently talked about in a crew call about how to put out a bunch of hotspots really high for pretty cheap and make them really stable. And you're going to be up closer to probably not this 0.28, but in the like 0.14, 0.19 area. And so maybe you're looking over here and this is you, and this person here is doing 0.18 HNT. Again, we can kind of pivot and see, okay, they're not the highest thing in a hill, but they've got a decent, well, maybe not a decent view all around. It looks like a little view over here, and they're hitting all these guys right here, right? Maybe they just had a high day today. Maybe they've got what I would consider a great deployment, and on Pine Grove Street, they decided they were going to put it on a pole. They're going to get that pole up super high. Maybe it's a ham radio guy that's up on a tower. I don't know who this person is. But yeah, they did an above average job and they're earning above average HNT. So that is kind of the best way to quickly and reasonably accurately figure out what your average earnings are going to be, right? Global average, regional high, regional average, what you're going to do above or below that regional average. That's what it gets you. And that's how to do the whole thing. So that's it. Nick Hawks, Gristle King. Go to the 𝗪𝗁𝘁.com site. Check that out. If you want to learn more about how to use Helium.Vision, which is the tool I just used, there's a course on that. If you want to learn the basics of Helium so that all the stuff I said in the beginning doesn't fly right over your head, check out the Helium Basic course. And if you want to jump on weekly calls with me and a couple other Helium fanatics, then join the Gristle crew. There's a bunch of really smart people there who are helping me understand Helium and helping each other do awesome things in the world of Helium. All right, rock on. Talk to you later.